Hi, welcome to the presentation that gives a brief overview of the recruitment process for engineering students getting ready for placement from KPIT Technologies. Who are we and what do we do? For information regarding this, recommend going to our company website at www.kpit.com. Request your attention in the next few slides as they go on. Request you to read through them and then absorb them, and then let's continue with the conversation. We do have a global footprint, and as it's being shown here, we have 31 offices across 16 countries with development centers in US, Germany, India, China, and Brazil. Previously, you saw our global footprint. We have 31 offices across 16 countries. We are an Indian company started in the 90s, publicly traded with a revenue of $568 million for the financial year 17-18. And our employee strength is upwards of 12,000 strong. These are some of our products and solutions. More details of this, recommend going through the company website. KPIT in news in the recent past, highlighting only the products that would be most relevant to the conversation that we are having. All right, hope all that has piqued your interest into the recruitment process of KPIT. Let's go ahead and check that out. There are two avenues in which graduates are hired into KPIT. One is where we visit the campuses for the engineering graduates. The other one is through Sparkle program. Subsequently, we'll be seeing a lot more how we actually go through the process when we visit the campuses. More details with respect to the Sparkle program, request you to check out the KPIT Sparkle competition. Right, let's get into the campus recruitment model. What do we do and what is the process and how is the recruitment happening? Right, before we actually come into the campus, we perform pre-campus activities. So 1 to 2 months before we actually visit the campus, we actively reach out to the campuses and the placement and training officers, detailing out the entire process, and they further cascade it down into the students. We provide them with a link where all the eligible students who are interested to join KPIT have to register. Now, what follows after the registration process is 1 to 2 weeks before we actually come to the campus, there's an online test. The online test has two parts to it. One is an MCQ test and the other one is a coding test. Now, all those who clear that round of online tests are eligible for the in-person interviews, which will happen when KPIT visits the campuses, which will typically have technical and HR rounds, and in some cases, group discussions and additional round for algorithm and programming. Now, post which all selected students would be given offer letters. Now, post this entire process is complete, we come to the post recruitment section. The expectation of KPIT is once you are given the offer letter, all students have to go through our PACE program, which stands Program for Academic Collaboration and Engagement. Further, if the university or the college allows more than 3 months internship in their final years, we do encourage such students to come and to the internship program. More details of each one of these segments is in the following slides. KPIT is a core company, and our eligibility criteria is listed here, right? 58% in BE and BTech in any of the circuit branches. No active backlogs, no year gap during the course period. Now, all the details that we just discussed earlier for the pre-campus are listed here for more clarity. All right, let's go in detail with the pre-campus assessment and the video testimonial, right? Now, the pre-campus assessment has 3 parts to it. First one being online MCQ test, number 2 being online coding test, and number 3 being video testimonial. Let's go in detail in each of them. Although this would give you a brief overview, subsequent slides have got much more details than what is presented here, right? So for the online MCQ test, we have 3 subparts to it: aptitude, technical, and communication and professional skills. The total number of questions would be 90 for 90 marks. Duration 100 minutes. Detailed split is also available in the subsequent slides. Let me go over the second assessment also, and then we'll go into the platform, the location, and how and what, right? The coding test is a programming test. You will be given 2 problems for a duration of 60 minutes. These questions are similar to what you will be seeing online, where you have been given a problem statement with sample test cases, and you go ahead and code a solution for the same. As long as your code clears the test cases, equivalent marks would be given. All right. The platform we will be using for both of these is called Metal. It's an online platform, and web proctoring is also done through it. So for this, the requirements would be also shared with you. For example, you might need a computer or a laptop with webcam, with internet connection, and browser of a particular version, and so on and so forth. All of those details will also be shared with your training and placement officer. You can take this test from anywhere as long as these prerequisites are met. This typically happens 2 to 3 weeks prior to KPIT visiting your campus. Both of these are elimination rounds, so please do make sure that you do well in each of them. We are giving you quite a lot of information in regards to each of them, with the hope that it will help you in ensuring that the tests are taken well. Now, after that, post clearing those 2 tests, you will be shared a topic, right? And we'll request you to create a video testimonial of 2 to 3 minutes. It can be shot from mobile or handycam or so on and so forth. And the size, format, and all the other details will also be shared. Now, this is not an elimination round, but we really look forward to seeing what you can make in those 2 to 3 minutes. The details of the first part of the test, which is the MCQ test, and the section split is here. For the aptitude section, it is further split into 4 sections, right? And as you would have seen earlier, all the questions would be related to these. Similarly for communication professional skills. Now let's come into the technical section. Now, if you are coming from circuit branches, I have detailed out 2 different approaches for the circuit branches. So this is the generic circuit branches. Let's say if in your colleges there's automotive electronics not being run in their 6th semester, this is the category you fall in, which is the majority of all of us. Now the details of how the questions are going to be split are these, right? Whereas if in your 6th semester your college has introduced to you automotive electronics, then the questions would fall into these categories. As part of the coding test, you'll be given 2 questions for a total duration of 60 minutes. After giving in all the prerequisites and all the details asked, the test would start the timer, right? And here you are able to see one sample question. And it's very similar to many other platforms that have this sort of questions, where you are given the question, the description, and the expected outputs. Now you go ahead and then read the question, understand the question, and start programming it. I'm just going to walk you through the place and the interface. Here you get to see code results and your test cases. You can compile and test it. It doesn't matter. You can keep compiling it for n number of times. It's not at all a problem. Let's go ahead and code this. So let's assume that this is the first set of code that I've written, right? Now, if I go ahead and do compile and test, it goes ahead and shows me that I have cleared a couple of test cases, but I've not cleared one test case, right? Where the expected versus actual. Now, if I go back to the code and if I had done the logic right, I have already written that code, so I'll just reuse that. Go ahead and actually compile and test. This time around, let's see if it clears all the test cases. So it does clear all the test cases. So this code seems to be working fine and correct for these inputs. Now there's another way to test this, is if you can click on your test cases, you can actually checkbox this and then actually put in these values to see if the code that you have written actually works, right? I'm just going to put in the first value, 1996. Let's compile and test it. And it says the actual output is 1, which is exactly the same. So it shows me that that is a pass for my test case, one of the test cases. Let's go in and then put the next one. Let me test that out. And this again is matching this, and so on and so forth. So this is a way where you can test it out. So similarly, you would get such questions, 2 of them, and the test cases will automatically determine your score. Now, till now we saw everything that happened till campus placement. Let's go ahead and see what happens during campus placement. As earlier mentioned, for all the people who have cleared the pre-campus assessments, we have these big buckets in which they go through, right? You have the technical interview, you have the HR interview, GD if needed, algorithm and programming test if needed. Post which, to all the selected students, the offer letters are given, and that would be welcoming to KPIT family. Right, let's get into the details of the video testimonial. This typically happens post clearing the online test, right? Although it's an optional activity, we really love to hear from all of you in respect to the topic that's shared. So the process is the topic would be declared, and post which the time would start. You can go ahead and shoot the video and upload it in the format that would be shared with you in the location that is also shared with you. All right. So although we say that it's an optional activity, we really would love to hear from you on how and what you have done during this activity. Let's go ahead and see process after recruitment. We have put in a tagline which says learning never stops, and it's truly true for KPIT. Right, let me show you and share with you what all happens at KPIT, and just to give you a perspective of what to be expected. After getting the offer letter, the phase we would be at is now before joining KPIT, right? And that's where PACE falls in place. PACE, as mentioned earlier, is for Program for Academic Collaboration and Engagement. It's an initiative to bridge the gap between academia and industry, right? As part of which students are offered a KPIT elective, and there is faculty enablement that occurs, which is through faculty development program or with faculty internship program. Guest lectures from KPIT SMEs. SMEs stand for subject matter experts, happening on the campuses either physically or through digital mode. Internships that we just detailed earlier, and student contests. Student contests, one of them is our Sparkle, which is a nationwide student competition. Now, after everything is done, post completing this, there's a small assessment on the KPIT offered elective, and on clearing that, we come into the phase of Genesis, which is for fresh entrants when you join into the company as a fresh graduate, right? It's a program that is roughly around 10 to 12 weeks, That's mandatory for all fresh entrants, and this predominantly is to make you ready for projects, right? Now again, learning doesn't stop, and KPIT is committed towards it. We have an E-code Kaizen program, which is basically for continuous upgradation of our skills. Now, this is a mandatory program for all employees, cutting across different age groups and seniorities, going all the way till the CEO. Right? It's a crate-based framework linked to our progression, and that shows how serious we are towards continuous learning and upgradation. It's to make sure that we are prepared with the current and relevant technologies, domain, process, project management skills, soft skills, and leadership qualities that would be necessary with our respective work. Many of you might be interested in higher education, right? At KPIT, we do have a master's program, which is in partnership with Coventry University, right? And it is while at work. You could do that while at work. It's offered for MTech and MBA, right? And more details of it, obviously, when you would join the company. But it's just a slide to make sure that if you're interested towards higher education, that is also catered to in the company. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope that really helps in clarifying the process and why KPIT and what to expect when you join KPIT. Wishing you all the very best and look forward to seeing you all at KPIT campus. Thank you.